Morning.
It's morning.
It is morning still.
Well, we got, what is this, week 22?
Week 21, I think.
It's week 22.
Week 22?
Yeah, we had 21 and 21B.
Oh, I thought it was 20 and
last week?
20B.
Yeah, that was
It
last
was already last week that Mark was here?
Yeah, the 18th.
Wow. So we got 2 football games left. This one and the Super Bowl. This one doesn't really count. The Pro Bowl.
Oh, yeah, I was like 2 football games. That's bullshit. Yeah, because I don't even count the Pro Bowl as anything
I
close
was
to
watching him
football.
play dodgeball yesterday. That was kind of fun. Yeah.
Who was playing dodgeball?
Professional athletes. Professional football. The best professional football players. It was pretty
Where and why?
fun. In Hawaii for the fuck of it. It's like a big NFL promo weekend.
So if you don't make the Super Bowl, your fans can vote you into the Pro Bowl.
Which is like the
the fans?
All-Star game kind
All-Star
of
game.
The fans do that,
Yeah.
not sports
Yeah.
writers?
No, same with baseball. Fans
Yeah.
vote them in.
Fans vote them in. So
Huh.
it's all the All-Stars, basically. And then they just play games, like throw the ball at targets, dodgeball, flag football, stuff like that, just for fun every year in Hawaii. And then and then they have a football game today, but it's so, like, fake. But the winning team does get a cash prize.
Yeah, they don't want to get hurt.
Yeah, they don't want to get hurt.
And they're
So
all
do they
pals,
split
so-
it up between East and West?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So since we're on
Interesting.
sports, you were asking about Ichiro this morning. Why would they get him onto teams? Well, the
Yes.
Major League Baseball is expanding to Japan now. So the Japanese teams are going to start playing with the American teams this season, next season.
I think
not sure.
travel is going to be a little difficult.
Well, it's easier than the NFL where you go for just one game. They can go for 2 series, so they could be there for 2 weeks at a time.
But you were talking about them
Wow.
doing that at spring training, right?
Yeah, they're
So-
starting in spring training in February. So the reason they called Ichiro up is because they're going to have their first 2 games in Japan, and Ichiro's like a superstar there. So they'll bring him up to the major leagues for 2 games. Then everybody has a boner, and then
But why does he have
games
to go
are
to
over, and he retires.
Why does he have to go to the minor league first in order to do that?
So they could pull him up for those 2 games. You have to be signed by the team, but they don't want to sign the regular roster because that's a regular team. They're not going to fuck with the team.
Oh, I see.
They're just
Oh.
bringing him up as a publicity stunt. Yeah, I think it's
I
kind of
will
nice.
not make the mistake of reading the sports page again.
Yeah, don't try it. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense to me either. It's easier to listen to it.
I don't know what I was thinking reading the sports section.
Well, keep your mind active.
Yeah. Go back to the crossword.
And what other sports things happened? There's been a bunch of fights last week. We watched those. We already talked about that.
There's fights last night for
There's
Bellator.
How were those fights? Were they good?
They're pretty good, man.
There's an
Freaking,
interesting story
quick.
about this dude.
Yeah.
You know the kid Aaron Pico?
No.
He's supposed to be like a top prospect, but he got slept, like
Oh,
starched.
wow.
It's recorded. I recorded it.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna have to watch
Do you
that.
guys know this guy Brock?
No. What about him?
They did a whole big feature on him.
Whoop-de-doo.
He's a boxer with an 18-17-1
Yeah, so like a
record.
really shitty
Right.
boxer. 18, 17, and 1.
Yeah.
That's not very good.
No, not at all.
He's won 18 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anybody that does anything like that from this area is going to get attention.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's almost mid-season NBA, isn't it, already?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just seemed like it just started, but I guess that's what football does, it takes you away from that. And then, shit, it'll only be a month for March Madness will start up, too.
That's what I'm looking forward to. March Madness, nicer weather, stuff like that.
I like the weather.
I do too, but I'm already over it.
We've had pretty phenomenal weather. Yesterday was
Yeah,
gorgeous.
The
nice
winter's been
Yeah,
lame.
yesterday was beautiful, sure.
Yeah, the daffodils are coming up already. It's like, what?
Oh, someone's at the door.
I'll go.
Joe Mack, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Well, good morning.
He must not have gotten the message.
That we're starting at 9:30.
No, that we had some loose cables out and stuff, and I just thought it was a bad idea if he came by this time.
No.
Found this amazingly good-looking guy at the front door.
Whoa!
So I said, come on in.
Welcome.
Oh, you want to
Water's
sit
warm.
there?
You sit right
I'm taking advantage of Randall's nice warm leg.
Did you get a sitter for the daughter?
Yeah,
Cool.
I got her like 2 years ago.
Well, you said you were bringing her last night, and I sent you a message this morning saying we had some loose cables and stuff I was worried about.
Okay, no, you good. I forgot my wife was off work today.
Oh, cool.
I ended up cleaning last night.
She's waking up,
Anyways,
man.
Oh,
went out to Brother Don's.
for the third time.
I couldn't
You know what I
believe
mean? I woke up at 5 and I was like, nah, it's too early.
Brother Dan said it's
7?
Friday night.
Nah.
It's like, what the
9? 20? Oh, no, I gotta get up. I gotta go.
So you went to Brother Don's last night?
Yeah, just briefly. Yeah, I went there and they had some cover band playing. It was alright. And then I went back to the library and read my book. Did some shopping online.
So when they had breaks at
Really?
the comedy show, the first break, I went over to We Blew In, and they had some pretty cool live music.
Yeah?
Yeah, band I've never heard of, but it was like bluesy, jazzy type. Just guitars and drums and stuff. Older. Reminded me of.
You didn't get the name of them?
No, I didn't.
Because I thought I heard some band that was going to be their Silver Tips or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And
Where's
then
this place?
We Blew In, the old Papa's
The old...
by McLeod's.
The one that used
Oh.
to be the airplane place. Remember you had all the airplane memorabilia?
Yeah.
So then I went over to
Remember,
McLeod's to go eat some peanuts, and they tried charging me a $5 cover. So I was like, I'm just here to eat some nuts. And they're like, $5. And I was like, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Was there a band?
I don't like McLeod's.
Sound like a DJ.
No, I like the clouds.
One of the reasons that I don't know all these places is I pretty much go where I can walk.
Yeah, I like McLeod's. It's nice. They got good food. I love their pasta steak thing.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's really good.
I went there,
That's
they
fun.
had some kind of dance thing going for a while, is why I
Yeah,
went there.
line dance. They teach swing dances.
Yeah.
Certain nights.
Oh,
That
like
was-
McLeod's
that
up
was-
there
that was
9
fun.
Anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what I went in there at like 10 or 11 actually. It was just crazy. So I had to leave last night after the third break after round 2.
Did you see me?
I did see you.
Okay.
I see you scored with the same as these other comics that were average.
That's not for me to decide, though.
I know.
Yeah.
But you probably had to be thinking, how did they get the same score as me?
No, I was like, I think when I stopped and I sat back and I thought about, okay, what could I have done better in my performance? I was like, okay, I can see why I obtained that score. And like other people, they just were excelling at different categories than I was.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You got a good score though.
Sure. Sound like gymnast or some shit. If I would have just landed that ball, man.
I wouldn't have taken that small step forward on my dismount.
Yeah. Political.
Did you stay for the end of it?
Yeah, I stayed for the end.
Who wound up winning?
This guy named T6. He's from Portland. Like he
Oh,
was born in Alabama,
yeah.
moved up to Portland, and now he just came here to like
Shit, I didn't know he
still
was even
first
there.
place in Bremerton.
I didn't even know he was there. Was he in round 3 or some shit?
He was in round 3. It was like Paul, T6, Mike Parker. Who else? Billy was no.
Billy was
in
round
Palmer.
2.
Yeah. So the top 3 were T6, Mike Parker, and I forgot her name. The
Asian
Newman?
No, not the Asian lady. It was a white lady, and she had plaid pants on.
The blonde?
The blonde.
What
Yeah.
is the best review ever? Not the Asian one.
There was like one. I think she was Korean, but
It's
then
the
she,
plaid pants that got me.
yeah. The Korean girl was good though.
Yeah, she was good. She was hilarious.
I liked her stuff.
Her accent was so thick and fresh, and I feel like I've heard somebody else use that line though. I am now an American citizen. You are welcome.
This guy named, I think there was a Native American or First Nations people or Indian. I don't know.
Indigenous.
Indigenous. I don't know what you subscribe to, but yeah, pick one.
Well, anyway,
I think he said that.
it was
I
a
heard
fun
him say
show.
that. It was a good show. There were some great comedians up there too.
Did one of blast until 1?
No, it lasted until 12 because a lot of people didn't show up. Like, I wasn't even on the ticket. I just showed up and was like, yo, put me on stage real quick, please. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, you know China has this app that can detect anybody that has debt within 500 yards of you.
I believe
What?
it. Joan, you watch Black Mirror?
Yeah.
So Joe was showing me this freaking this thing. They have like a whole system now to where like they rate you on fucking like everything.
So is that thing a relationship app? Like a
No.
dating app?
So it's for the government, and the
Oh.
government encourages you to snitch on people that look like they can pay off their debt.
Oh.
So imagine going to Panera Bread and getting a pick two and somebody going, hey, you going $500.
No, if you try to get on a train, they'll say no, you don't have enough points. You have to take the bus. Yeah, and it's called WeChat. Is one of their apps. They don't have Facebook; it's illegal. So they have WeChat, which is the same thing, except it's more expanded. I used it a lot when I was over in China because it had a translation app that was perfect. It worked really well. I knew that they would have access to me anyways, but at the same time, yeah, that's how they get you. And it's bigger than Facebook.
Imagine if they did that in America.
So it's weird that
I
all
think
these
they're
people that are
doing
so
it
poor,
already.
they all have cell phones, So it's like they must get free phones. Just get the app, so
Yeah.
everybody's tied in. It's pretty interesting.
But I mean, like someone using like EBTs out fucking drinking at the bar, and you're like, motherfucker, you're on EBT, food stamps.
I feel like it'd be a lot of conservatives that would use that.
Oh,
and
for
then
sure.
Everybody else would be like, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
Well, I keep getting emails from places that I'm charging. I'm like, how the hell did they get my email? It turns out there's a network.
You're charging.
When I use my credit card,
Oh, I see.
Oh,
At a bar.
okay.
I get emails from places I've never been before.
That's like in Old Navy, they'll say, hey, can we have your email? That's so they can send you like, oh, we have this sale going on. You should come and buy new sweatpants.
They could also sell it to
Yeah.
third parties.
Yeah.
Well, I was telling you about buying cigarettes, and they carded me and they scanned my ID.
Right,
It's
exactly. Exactly. I was thinking about
like
that.
getting all sorts of points.
Now when you go on Instagram, there's just going to be nothing but Marlboro Red advertisements.
Or if I want to get life insurance, they're going to say, what about this? What about that? What
I
about
sell
this?
that, by the way.
The other thing that startled me a couple of days ago, I made a bunch of calls to Patty Murray, Maria Cantwell, Kilmer, Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, and strangely, one of them, I can't remember which one, wanted my address. Like they weren't going to talk with me if I wasn't a constituent.
Right.
And I thought that was silly. For example, with Pelosi being the Speaker of the House, the entire nation is her constituency as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I wrote a letter to the mayor about Brother Don's getting fined for being too loud, and he CC'd it to the police chief, and 2 days later I got a ticket on my truck out front.
Ooh, petty.
No.
So we can skip the computer insider. You can just go right to the source.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyways, another world news. We had a lot going on this week. The government shutdown's over.
No.
Yes.
Only till
It's
February
temporarily
15th.
Well, it's over.
And Mr. Bully says that he's going to get his way or it's going to shut down again.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. He's never lied before.
You know what I don't like about this whole thing is all the articles and memes that are suggesting that Pelosi made Trump hit her bitch.
I don't agree with that at all.
No, I'm just saying it's been
Yeah.
out there,
Yeah.
and it's frustrating because is that what this is about? Is this about winning or is this about doing the right thing?
When's the last time you've seen in politics somebody refute the central point? It
Yeah.
usually goes to
Well,
either contradicting statements or straight to name calling.
I heard a comment from Pelosi, and she was very, very diplomatic. She did not say anything like that. It's certain media people that are trying to get this into a...
Well, it is a fight.
He-she
Absolutely.
thing.
I mean, the thing passed almost unanimously through the Senate, and he said no still. So all the people are saying this, and then he's still saying no. So when people are saying, well, you're against the president, it's like, so are the people you voted for. I mean, these are the people that are saying this has gone too far. So it's Trump, not the Republicans. It's not...
Don't forget, in
It's not
early...
against the people. So yeah, he needs to be told to shut up by the people.
In early December, there was a bipartisan legislative.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
That's,
and he said,
right, that's what
no.
I'm saying. All the people have already said this, so now they're coming back on their meme saying, yeah, you guys don't want border security. It's like, yes, we do. That's not what we're talking about. And it just becomes that crazy, divisive conversation again instead of looking at
yeah.
what's going on. And once again, I think it's part of the smokescreen for the Mueller investigation.
I do think that it seems like they're just really trying to compile as much evidence as they can against Trump to make sure that when they come forward with the charges that they actually don't fuck it up.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm really excited
That's
about
what I'm hoping.
Like when Cohen came, when that thing came out, I don't remember who posted it. Somewhat credible source said that Cohen mentioned that Trump advised him knowingly, legally to do certain things, and then the next day it was like retracted. Like, oh no, that's not a valid article or statement. So I almost felt like that got leaked out.
Oh,
And
the
it's true.
leaked out memo or whatever.
Yeah, but then they were like retracted it because they want to try to keep all this evidence in and not have any one or two things leaked out. They want to just lay it all out at one time.
That's what I'm thinking too. But
But
I
then
have a question.
Cohen's recused himself from testifying. He said, I'm not going in because they're threatening my wife and my father-in-law. And so he said, I'm not going in. And then they finally said, yeah, you are. And they brought him in. And so now he's spilling the beans. And because he's supposed to go to jail in a month anyways. So they're saying, well, shit, if we wait till he goes to jail, then he won't say anything because he's in jail already. So now if we get him before he goes to jail, then we can
See, that's
get him to
something
sing.
I didn't understand. Why he was supposed to testify at the House. He said he couldn't because of the threats. But then the Senate turned around and subpoenaed him.
Right.
Why wouldn't the House have subpoenaed him? Do they not have that authority to do that?
I thought Mueller subpoenaed him.
No, it was the Senate.
Well, it doesn't matter. They got him talking anyways.
Yeah.
And I think the timing is not coincidental, or is not. Yeah, it's not coincidental. It's purposeful that Roger Stone was arrested in the middle of the morning.
Oh yeah.
As soon as as soon as Cohen went in, they're like, we better go get Stone before he starts, destroying shit and
Also,
scared his dog.
it's just so
Aw,
crazy.
they scared his dog.
It's just so crazy that we're in the middle of the possibility of a wall being funded and then a president being impeached who wants the wall funded. So it's almost like, what's going to happen first,
Yeah.
Because there's a chance that the wall thing could be written in Register or whatever you call it, and then he gets impeached. But because it's still there, it still happens.
It's not going to be in the legislature. They've got 3 weeks to sort out a bill, and there's no way the Democrats are going to say, yeah, let's put $5 million in for the wall. There's no way. They might put $5 million in for border security, like drones and shit.
Yeah.
$5 billion or whatever. But, he's not going to get his wall the way he wants
I still
See, and I've heard rumors that Mueller's going to come out with something in February.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, and I'm thinking maybe before the 15th.
Yeah, yeah, I'm thinking so.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, that would be sweet.
With
Pardon
roses.
the pun.
Roses and chocolates.
Put a file on his cake.
Get fucked.
A little pun in there. No wrong with a little pun.
What else is going on in the world? Venezuela, kicking the diplomats out there. This guy pronounced himself, 35 years old. He's like, I am now the president. And he swore himself in for thousands of people. And the United States and Canada and other countries are backing him.
Well, the
And he's
EU
just
is
like some guy.
also the EU is thinking of backing him, but
Yeah.
they haven't done it officially.
No, but this is just some
Is
rebel
this a
guy.
loophole?
No, there's been all this fighting going on. It's civil unrest, right? So they've been protesting for 6 months, 8 months.
Oh, you're talking about Venezuela.
Yeah.
Okay.
NPR this morning.
And this guy
kept-
just came out and said, I'm now the president.
That's gangster as fuck.
Yeah. People are all behind him, and then he's got all these countries supporting him. Yeah, and it's only because he's the opposition to the leader who's being backed by Russia and China.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Let's
remember
see.
seeing that. I was like, this guy's gonna die.
Sometimes you just
Yeah,
feel it.
he should be very careful. NPR this morning kept saying that Maduro's social experiment failed, that was the whole problem. And I'm thinking, why would they say something like that?
Well, it's complicated, but it really comes back to overspending on social programs, and that's where they're always saying, "Oh, it's a socialist."
See, and that's the thing. People are going to go, "Oh, socialism, it's so
Right.
bad."
Well, but it is true they overspent a lot on their socialism when the value of the gasoline went sky high, and they couldn't sell. So they, they're one of the largest oil producing countries in the world, but they
Yeah,
put all their
they were
money
the richest.
into these social programs. Then when they tried to rein it in, it was too late. It was because they're all corrupt.
Yeah.
These oil companies are just skimming off the top for themselves, and then the social programs go broke, and then everybody's hungry.
I think skimming off the top is what did them in, though. Because, like, you can spend a lot on social programs.
Well,
it's just like an American
But
politics.
Chavez put a ton of money into the social programs. I mean, he that's how he gained his popularity.
Yeah, but who knows how much of that money went to the actual cause?
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
That's why the people were so happy for so long, and then they got complacent. And then when the oil fell out, they're like, "Oh fuck, we got to pay for this shit." So they borrowed a bunch of money to keep their hospitals and their schools going out. And then when they went default on their loans, then the schools shut down and the hospitals closed. And then everybody's like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Just take a step back real quick. I wanted to say we talked last week about the wall, and it came up that it would be cool. I really like this idea. I want to know what you guys think about instead of a wall, like a trade market, where you can have
the mall instead of the wall.
yeah,
The
exactly.
wall.
The mall instead of the wall. Because think about it, you could have it could be a border, but you have the South America come in, you have North America come in, and they meet and they trade and they talk and they hang out and then they go back.
You said South America?
Yeah, first of all,
people
the walls
coming up
in
from
North
Brazil.
America.
Because they
Let's
will
build a wall in
bring
Colombia.
your product, like section
Let's
it
do a
off.
geography lesson here for a second.
Like section it off. Like this is you guys, this is you guys. Like in Venice Beach. If you guys ever go to Venice Beach on the strip, they have all these little squares
Yeah,
that
we
you can
didn't
rent
have
out.
that kind of though.
Venice Beach is also dirty.
How would you?
It's fuck.
How
It's
would you keep
fun.
people from going north when they came from the south?
Because you need clearance to get in there.
And who's going to
And,
clear
and
out?
you and then you're
So you're
both.
saying there should go through two checkpoints?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Well,
have
did
those.
you guys get my link to Sheriff
I
Tony
didn't read it.
Estrada?
Yeah,
Because he's.
is he related to Eric?
I have no idea, but he's been working on he's been in police work at the border for more than 40 years. And he was talking about how there are thousands of trucks that go in and out. The only way a wall could work is if you walled off the highways as well. And there would be no commerce between the two countries.
You want some fresh, John?
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
You know
Because
what
they
else?
have the maquiladoras
Well,
with
I don't
the auto parts, they've got produce going in and out.
In other words, it's a stupid idea, Joe. I mean, seriously. You got tens of thousands of people going through these checkpoints every day.
I
Yeah.
understand, but what I'm saying is
So
that
if you just had this huge area where people can go freely through more checkpoints, then that's a
Yeah.
problem. That's where
And you
that's where
would
all the
still
drugs
need-
and trafficking's coming from. I don't want illegal drugs coming through the country like unchecked and all sorts of, as Trump would put it,
you
duct
park
tape
on the
people to
outside. You park on the outside. You bring your
They
shit
do
into your
that.
stand.
I mean, I've been through the checkpoints in Mexico.
I guess
many
you could
times.
probably smuggle drugs in through food or something.
Well,
like that.
and
I feel like-
Estrada did say that there is a problem with drugs, he said, and one of the big problems is that it's gone from a little bit to pounds and pounds of drugs coming
And the
through.
problem is that they need more people on the border points.
Exactly.
They don't need a wall. They need more people.
Exactly.
And Democrats are happy to spend $5 billion on people.
Absolutely, they are.
Let's put a shitload of drones and a shitload of people so that you have these trucks that come through and you don't check 1 out of 10, which is what they're doing. And
I don't think they're even checking that many.
right. I'm just
Yeah.
give a number, and the cartels are saying, yeah, that's the odds we can work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
That what they
And then
need
the ones
is
that they do get caught, they bribe them, or they threaten them.
they need technology or a whole bunch of dogs too
They need all sorts of things.
to
Yeah,
What
sniff
kind of
out
drugs
that
they
stuff.
get into? Just like cocaine and heroin.
cocaine, heroin,
Everything.
and fentanyl, or.
And
Oh,
and they're still
fentanyl.
bringing
That
marijuana
stuff.
over while
But even that, they're saying
all this-
more of that fentanyl's coming through the air from China.
Yeah.
And then the question is, well, like we were talking about last week, was more people are dying from opioid epidemic than they are from heroin and coke. So it's like, oh, the brown people's drugs are bad, but these drugs are okay.
which
you know?
has
The drugs
been the
they're
way it's
profiting
been
off.
forever and ever.
Yeah.
They need to start arresting physicians.
Well,
here
weed
in
is probably got to be
States.
the hardest thing to try to smuggle, so they probably stopped doing that.
Well, there's no value in
Yeah.
it anymore.
There's
So
no
that's
value.
when you make it legal, and the market dropped out.
So
See,
they
that's
should
what
make
I-
cocaine legal? Is that what you said?
I suggest so.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
saying that.
I don't see why
Do
not.
you know that before
Clean my house faster.
the end of Prohibition, all drugs were legal?
Yeah.
It was
Really?
only after Prohibition ended that all these drugs were made illegal, and that's because the people who were making tons of money
Right.
off of
What else is going on?
booze being illegal needed something else to be illegal. Seriously.
Well, let's do local news. Let's start off by a moment of silence for Carrie, because I think they found his body last night.
How you,
Who?
you know it was
Carrie.
Carrie?
Oh, it's more than likely it's Carrie. He's a drift-in guy. He had a bunch of boats down the waterfront. He was going to buy my boat for quite a while, and that fell through. And you know, he's fallen in the water before. He's got boats down on the dock, but this time he must have not come back up. So circumstances are bad. So unfortunate to him. Cheers.
Cheers, Carrie.
Chaim.
So losses down there. I'll probably have to stop by the drift to say hi to everybody today, just to say goodbye. And then the
Is
other
that
big,
what he looks like?
No,
Was that him?
no.
Or do we know what
They
he
didn't
looks like?
announce it in the paper yet, but I was down there at the drift yesterday, and I said, "Have you seen Carrie?" And I said, "No." And they're like, "Well, he probably fell in." And they found a bottle of whiskey sitting on the dock next to where his boat is, so he was probably sitting out there and fell in. And
He's not the short dude with the gray hair, is he?
I don't know. God, you're
They'll post a picture in
He's
a
an old
couple
white
days.
guy. How about that?
Yeah.
Big mustache.
Oh, white guy. That could be anybody.
Yeah. So, anyways, the other big news in the Kitsap this week was the stabbing and the fight in South Kitsap. I'm not
Where's
caught up with
this
all the
at?
details. Kitsap
Happened
High
in Port
School.
Orchard.
Some
Really?
14-year-old
So-
kid, I think, was stabbed multiple times.
I guess there's a bunch of kids that have been gang fighting or cliques. I guess they don't call them gangs because they're probably white kids. So, anyways,
Their youth groups.
youth groups. Yeah, they got in a fight in the parking lot, and one kid got stabbed a bunch of times. And the kid who stabbed him went to the principal's office, turned in his knife, and said, "Yeah, calling self-defense." And then the students went on a protest the next day, demanding that the principal gets fired because he didn't protect the kids. And
They were fighting off campus.
They were fighting.
It's
It
on-
was,
it's
it was
on-
on campus,
on-
but it was after freaking school hours.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
Port
not,
Orchard, yeah.
Can't be responsible.
Yeah.
That's what. Well, what do they have to fight over? You live in Port Orchard.
I don't know. Well, so I read the article, whatever, and I was reading the comments and shit, and it's all kind of mixed up. But a lot of it is saying that there's a known problem between these kids. You know what I'm saying? Like they had it out a few different times, so it could have been prevented. You know what I'm saying?
Is this like some West Side Story type?
That's right. That's what me and
How
Joe
do
were
you
talking about.
prevent that, though?
Well, I mean, by like freaking punishing them or like nipping it in the bud, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, before, like, you know, if they knew that stuff was going on, like these guys had beef and, you know, we're getting into it already inside of school.
A teenager felt it necessary to carry a knife on him,
Yeah, you know, and I guess,
and which means there's a history.
yeah.
So the state
So
of
how
Louisiana.
do they prevent something like that from happening?
well, you know, a lot of school districts implement the zero tolerance kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So the problem is that zero tolerance, you know, there's no wiggle room. So when a kid says, I'll fuck you up, for example,
That's it.
if they're in a meeting or something like that, and the kid says, I'll fuck you up, that should be immediate, done, something right there. That's a threat and should be held. But I think oftentimes what they say, hey, stop that, don't talk like that, let's, you know, work it out. And right there, they're allowing that kind of discourse to happen. I'm not saying that happened here at all, by any means.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that sometimes when these kids make these threats, it's kind of like they try to, and once again, I'm not saying that's what happened here, but it sounds like from what you're saying that if there's a known history and things are going on, there's something that they just know is going to happen. And I don't know how you prevent that other than just having one security guard assigned to that group and just every day walk them out to their parking lots, and somebody barks at somebody else, you suspend them or something. I don't know.
Or you could do what Louisiana does and just throw kids in jail.
Well, you know, that can be a deterrent, I think.
It was for me when I was young. When I was a teenager, I was doing some fucked up shit, and I got I got arrested twice and sent to juvie, and put on probation both times. And I think that after the second time, they were like, "We can put you away. We can give you a felony, and we can ruin your entire life with just that one felony."
And so that's the thing. So that kid in that same meeting, like I said, you know, I'll fuck you up. That's a threat, and that could go to jail for that. And if they don't do that, or if let's say they did do that, let's say, okay, he's threatening to put him in jail. You know how many parents would say, "Oh, you're jumping the gun. You know, you're just picking on the black kids, or you're just doing this." You know, I mean, there would
But
be
shit,
this
it's
whole
white
story.
kids,
I know. Well, I don't know who it is. I really don't.
Okay,
But
you're
you
picking
know,
on
let's
kids.
say right. Well, let's say it's a black kid.
Yeah.
then there this whole thing. It's like, oh, you're being oversensitive. You know, you're not culturally aware or something like that.
I went to
you
the Facebook
Or it
page
could
of
be
the
the
kid that
white
got
kid.
stabbed.
know? Or it could be the white kid and
Yeah.
say, why didn't you put this kid in jail?
He's like 3 stab wounds and you still can't stop me.
Yeah, Ariel's an asshole.
What?
Yeah, and he's him and his girl like throwing up West Side and shit
What's
like
this?
that. The guy that got stabbed.
He was putting up pictures on Facebook?
Yeah, of getting stabbed and bragging about you can't hold me down. I think he had like an eye patch on or
Oh,
something.
that's
Yeah, that's what one thing too. Like I was
See,
reading
that's
the-
provocative.
sick.
right
You should
there.
have put
That
in the
is
comments.
sick.
Bet you won't do that in Port Angeles.
Yeah, no shit. Oakland. Go to Oakland and see
He
how hard you
apparently
are.
is a rapper and has like a fucking SoundCloud page.
Yeah.
The 14-year-old kid?
Yeah, that was
It was a marketing move the whole time.
Yeah.
If we talking about, come on, let's
Yeah.
next topic.
well,
next topic.
motherfucker too. Like, so the kid that did the stabbing,
Yeah.
he was getting jumped by the freaking dudes that that he stabbed. So I don't blame him for stabbing a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, he was holding his own, but
Yeah.
this is free advertisement.
Yeah.
Also,
Like,
the
Doug
Carl
Life, you know what I'm
Benson's
saying?
returned home.
Yes, the Carl Vincent's back. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I like it.
Those are
People,
new.
you know, it's so funny how you can predict that people are going to grumble within like the first 5
Oh, right
comments.
away.
It's just so
Even Josh Farley was
amazing.
like, "Wow, what's up with the negative comments on
Yeah.
his live stream?" You know.
I mean, this is where this city makes its bread and butter. You know,
Yeah.
what are they grumbling about?
about the Nimitz or the Stennis coming here, and
Vincent.
the Vincent coming home, and they're like, "Oh, the traffic's gonna be horrible now, and just what we need is more,
More
bars
dipshits
on the
and
streets.
Like, yeah, yeah. It's like, where do you possibly work that you're not affected by the Navy in this town?
I think what happens is that a lot of the small businesses don't promote to the Carl Vinson at all. So you got these kids from the Carl Vinson and they just stay like MWR commissary boat. That's it. So they don't spend any money out here. As far as like with comedy as well, I've seen you got.
Well, how much of that too is the singer not really caring to branch out?
Well, he doesn't know what to branch out to.
Well, I'll tell you this: the bar owners are happy that they're there, that they're here.
sure.
I mean, that
Yeah.
branches out. So if you're going to the bars, you're going to get cigarettes. If you're going to get cigarettes, you're gonna get some beer. You're gonna get some beer. You're gonna get some food. So it stimulates the economy. I mean, it's plain and simple. In fact, I knew some bars that were blacklisted when there was a fight, and then the Navy posted, "You can't go to this bar anymore."
Yep. they
And
do
that bar was petitioning the Navy, saying, "Hey, it was an isolated incident between a couple of people. Not, it's not our place, you know." And they petitioned it for years. This is about 15 years ago, but I mean that affects their business. Just like the shutdown. When the shutdown happened here years ago, that did affect the federal government workers in the shipyard. It was a ghost town downtown, and that affected all those businesses and people that didn't go to the ship. People go to the shipyard from Port Orchard. When they get their lunch break, they're going to all those different restaurants down there. When they get off work, they're going to all those different bars down there.
Yeah.
And when there's a furlough or shutdown, nothing. So
Yeah.
their business is hurt, and they're not going to get double once they get their money back.
Yeah.
Those businesses are affected permanently.
It's just like that. What's the alcohol store that's right outside the base? If you go through the
It's just that liquor store right there on Naval.
Yeah, they probably get a ton of
Yeah, for
business.
sure.
Same with Sirens.
And the Sirens and the other, what's the other one?
The Fuzzy Naval.
Fuzzy Naval.
Fuzzy Naval.
Yeah, you got 2 more people that doubled the capacity.
There's
You know-
a set of teeth between them.
You saying if they get 2 more people, it's double the capacity?
Yeah.
Stop it.
I don't know if it's true, but I heard a story about somebody in Bremerton that got in a fight with a sailor and kicked his ass and got charged with destruction of government property.
Believable.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad the Senate's here. That's
Vincent.
nice. The Vincent's here.
I just like telling people I
What, the
have.
Kitty Hawks here too?
No, I think they dragged that. No, that might be the last one left, because they've been dragging out all the old. What do they call them when they
The
take them
decommission.
decommission? Thank you.
Yeah, I was saying the
Yeah,
Kitty
they're-
Hawks decommission though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the one that's still left, because they've been hauling them off to be sold
Turned
as
into razor
scrapped.
blades.
Yeah. Razor blades. Yeah.
Any events coming up this week?
We have the open mic at Dog Days on the 1st. 7 o'clock, open mic comedy.
What day of the week is that?
Friday.
First Friday.
Okay.
And then on the 8th, we have a roast comedy show, Roast Battle at Hi-Fi at 7.
You going to that.
That should be fun.
You got Mike on there, so it's like Mike is usually first first minute of comedy, he's roasting somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if anybody else like roast people like that.
We'll
know
see.
What I mean?
And then on the 14th, we're doing the Newlywed Game at Hi-Fi.
That should be exciting.
And then on the 15th, we got the Bumpless Comedy Show at Dog Days. That's at 7.
Yeah.
Newlywed, that sounds familiar.
It's an old game, TV game.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah. We got some teams already for that one?
yeah, we have 2 couples from Pacific Cannabis.
Oh, good. So we need one more.
One more couple, freshly married, that love each
We're not
other.
fresh.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
you're not fresh.
I
No.
was actually.
You're not what?
We're not fresh.
Oh, well, you can still do it.
Yeah.
I was actually in a dance class once with a woman who had been on that show, and she said that they encouraged them to fight.
Yep.
Of course.
And
yeah.
the reason she and her, at that point, ex-husband
Don't worry, I'll provoke them.
were invited back was because of the way they fought.
Oh yeah. Like bring them back. Our ratings were highest with them.
Those old game shows are funny. My dad was.
Oh
like,
shit! He just slapped her. Woo! Bring him back.
My dad was on the dating game.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and he was a pastor at a church. So the old ladies like watched the episode and they was like, "You was on the dating game."
Oh, you know what? I had, she's moved to New York since, but the Jerry Springer show one time had this thing where they wanted a triangle or whatever you want to call it,
A threesome?
a threesome between a
A
lesbian,
triangle.
All
a
right, I think we're
lesbian, a
done
straight
today.
woman, and a guy, and so they came up with this group. And the funny thing is, one of the first things they had to do was sign an agreement saying they would not say anything that went on with the show.
Mm.
And they were encouraged to fight. And the lesbian woman ended up writing an article for The Stranger because she knew, even though she signed an agreement not to do that, she knew they wouldn't fight it because that would just bring it more out in the open.
All right.
these
Well,
shows
next
are
week's
like
the
that.
Super Bowl, so we'll have a super podcast.
Man, we still got the.
You mean the
playoff,
Rams
right?
victory party?
Oh, it's still a playoff, isn't there?
Oh no, that was last week. I'm sorry.
Super
That was,
Bowl.
yeah, Super Bowl. Yeah.
Whoa, what kind of American are you, Ram?
Yeah, really.
Pro Bowl game today.
Pro Bowl game.
And then Super Bowl. So we got Rams versus Patriots in the Super Bowl. Everybody thinks the Patriots are going to win easily.
No, it's gonna be the Rams.
Everyone's hoping. Everyone that's not a Patriot fan is hoping that the Rams win.
Who
but
did you
it's
bet money on?
Rams.
No, we're voting for the
Yeah.
Rams.
Tom Brady's older than the coach of the Rams. So.
All right, that's it for this week.
All right.
I gotta do something.